Hey everybody, this is Sarah Spencer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and this is Know Your Dogs. Chip, I don't think anybody was expecting #1 Georgia's trip to Missouri to be a nail-biter, but that's exactly what it was. Georgia, it seemed like they could do nothing but kick field goals for a really long time. Really, that game Georgia didn't pull ahead until the fourth quarter. What stood out to you about this game?
Well, what stood out to me was really the tale of two halves, because Georgia couldn't run the ball for anything against a really good Missouri stout defense. But then at the end of the game, when they absolutely had to run the football, they ran it, and they ran it well. So, I'm very impressed with Georgia having to come from behind, fumbles again, a lot of problems. But, man, they pulled this win out. And, I tell you who's most surprised? All those guys in Vegas who posted Georgia as a 28-point favorite. And they come out of here and really happy with the close win. They're really happy about this one.
Two things we talk about in this program all the time is composure and resiliency, and we had to OD on those tonight, because we certainly didn't start very well, didn't start in very good field position. But look, I couldn't be prouder of our guys. At halftime, nobody blinked, nobody questioned. It was the most together I've ever seen our team, and the theme this entire week was do it for your brother and do it for each other. And I thought they hung tight and did that.
Kirby Smart talked so much after the game about composure and resiliency. He really couldn't stop bragging on the Georgia bench. He was not down on them at all. He was happy. It almost sounded like, not that he was happy that they were tested, but remember after Kent State, he was happy they were tested. Well, what did you think about Georgia actually having to somebody gave Georgia a game?
Yeah, and he talked about this would being probably one of the most gritty, ways that Georgia's ended since he's been Georgia's coach. And if you think about it, think about the principal players that right there at the end of it. I mean, Dejon Edwards is making plays. There was a bunch of backups that are having to play in the game. A lot of backup receivers were having to get work done. Jalen Carter goes out in the game, so that means you don't have the All-America defensive lineman in the middle of your defense. It was a tough day in that regard, yet you were still able to stand up, take their best blows, and pull a win out of this thing.
Kirby Smart also mentioned, as far as quarterback Stetson Bennett would be the first one to say that this was not his best game.
Yeah. But you know what, we did. We fought and we battled, and in the end we found a way. Sometimes in this league, Coach Mark said, sometimes it's fairy tale land, and everybody's going to get beat by 50. But this is still a great football league, and there's great teams all around it, and it's really fun.
It's not always going to be gorgeous. Kirby Smart talked about that too. It's not always going to be beautiful. You think it's going to be, maybe Vegas thinks it's going to be, but it's hard every week, even if they make it look easy. Yeah. What did you see from Stetson Bennett?
Well, I don't agree with Kirby 100%. And if you look at Georgia's game-winning drive, he goes 4 for 4 for 61 yards.
When it matters.
When it matters, he was dead on. And it wasn't just, Stetson has 4 for 4 for 61 yards to 4 different receivers. So it's not like you're doing one thing and doing it over and over again. Just unbelievable composure and resiliency, not to quote the coach, but that was exactly what you saw from Stetson Bennett late in the game.
I think I was a little surprised. It seemed like Georgia's offensive line throughout the game was having problems, and that led to some of the other problems with the run game. I mean, if it's all up front, and Kirby Smart had some fun kind of choice words. That's the one area where he was pretty frank. They whipped us up front.
They did, and I probably me and you and most everybody who covers Georgia, I'm not sure we gave Missouri enough credit, for their defense. I mean, they came in. It was statistically clear that they're pretty good on defense, but you weren't sure about the competition they had played so far. You saw today they're really good, because that's a really good Georgia offense, and they had a tough time moving the ball, but they moved it when they had to, not just the game-winning drive when Georgia finally gets the lead, but at the end there, 2 third-down conversions, nothing but running the football with a stacked box. I mean, they had 11 in the box for the last 2 conversions that Georgia essentially forced them to use their last timeouts and was able to go into victory formation.
Give me your biggest takeaway from this game. I think a lot of people, including me, are kind of going to be mystified if you can make it look like that on your last 2 drives or that last fourth quarter. What was going wrong earlier in the game? But give me your biggest takeaway.
Well, Kirby was a little bit confused by that too, and I think it's just you think you're playing as hard as you can. but you don't realize it until, you know, your backs are against the wall, you know, and it's kind of like how you don't know how fast you can run until you have a grizzly bear chasing you, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, I can run a little faster than I thought I could. And
I've got motivation now.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what happened here tonight. And it's also, look, guys, the SEC is tough. The road in the SEC is tough. Missouri's supposed to be one of the worst teams in the East, but they had really good parts. And I mean, think about the kid, Harrison Mevis, the place kicker, who is so embarrassed to miss a chip shot field goal that would have won against Auburn.
Making it from 56.
5 field goals, 2 of them over 50, a 49-yarder, you know. So you just never know what you're going to get, number one. And number two, you're the number one team. You know this, you're going to always get your opponent's best.
Chip, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this.